Hello everybody, Mr. Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Shadowbringers. In the last episode, we met with the Numo Beck Doug, if I recall the name correctly, and kind of went over what the plan is, and they indicated that it's going to be a little bit more complicated than anticipated. We would have to find a way to separate their souls from their current kind of false bodies and basically put their souls in kind of a reduced activity state to be stored in the aura site so that we can then bring them back to the source and then put them back into their real bodies. And this whole idea of reducing the activity level of the soul kind of reminded Eorzea of the afflicted at the Inn of Journey's Head. They were basically were turning into sin eaters. A process which has been, stopped, but not necessarily reversed by the fact that the light in the sky has been dealt with. So it came over here, and Becklug kind of had some ideas about what might try, and we gave it a shot. It was a potion we tried. It kind of worked on some, but not others. And so he taught Eorzea how to make a familiar to amplify a spell to try to accelerate the process of the ether in these individual souls to return to balance. And it showed some promise. And, some of the information we gained from this whole process could potentially be used to perform the reverse. So there's that. But as we were kind of wrapping that up, and we got a message from Kai Shear that there's trouble in Yulmore. So we're going to be heading over to Yulmore, find out what that is. Something that was bothering Dulia Chai. So we'll see what that's all about. So let's go ahead and talk to Kai Shear over here and see what's up. Alright, Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not to keep her waiting, eh? Alright, yeah. So me and Alphino are going to go ahead and head on over there. As we just go ahead and teleport. Alright, there is Alphino and Kai Shear. Well, Naught here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that, sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress. Search for Dulia Chai. Let's see. Hopefully, yep, there she is. I was about to say, hopefully she's up on this level, and yep.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, This is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
But that is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Gulg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him. For shortly after that, he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
Well, we know he went out to Amarang at one point. I don't know, but whatever it is, he won't have fled. I'll go with that.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
Alright, I'll take the silver pieces. Don't need the food. Alright, let's see what ideas Alphino has. For all his comforting word, Alphino is plainly troubled by Master Chai's sudden disappearance. It makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I am sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. Alright, I guess we're asking around. Let's see who might be available. Moen? Master Chai? Why, yes, I spoke with him recently, though I recall he was in a rather dour mood, concerned about Yulmore's neglect of industry, you see. With Lord Vothry's apparently inexhaustible stores of meal and no great need for money, it's little wonder our businesses were all but forgotten under his rule. But I assured Master Chai that the Boutique of Splendors will do all it can to contribute to the revival of trade here in Yulmore, which seemed to satisfy him. He took his leave soon after. Okay. Yes, they're going to need some sort of industry or production for trade, for food at the very least. Okay, so we're going to head down to the next level. Gather information in the buttress. Gather information in the derelicts. It would seem it's down at the Glory Gate. Alright. Gornin. Looking for Master Chai, are you? Is something amiss? When last I saw him, he seemed ready to collapse from exhaustion. I insisted he rest and catch his breath, and we talked for a while about his concerns over the city's defenses, amongst other things. He made more than a few valid points. Many of our men are still recovering after a confrontation with Lord Vothry, and finding General Ranjit in a heap in the middle of the plaza shook us all to the core. Well, I really didn't have a choice about that one. The man commanded no small amount of loyalty, and some of our longest-serving soldiers seemed lost without him. Indeed, a number of them left. Not that we blame you, of course. Without you and yours, we would still be blind to the error of our ways. Anyway, funding permitting, I proposed replenishing our ranks with volunteers from the derelicts in Gatetown. We have a duty to protect not only Yulmore, you see, but the surrounding regions of Calusia as well, and I, for one, would welcome any man or woman willing to take up arms for that cause. Indeed, I told him as much, and he seemed relieved to hear it. It was on that note that we parted ways. He headed outside, as I recall. So it seems like he was getting some work done. So it wasn't like he was abandoning his duty as the new mayor. We need to head over to the derelicts, which there isn't any Ethernet shards there. So, let's see. Halfenbet? I recall a man fitting that description, asked to speak with the poor buggers lately come from right. Said he wanted to know the state of things down in the derelicts, and you can be sure we gave him an earful. Lack of food, medicine, clothing, there was plenty to tell. We hunt high and low for whatever we can scavenge, and it's barely enough to fill our bellies, but folk here don't just want to survive, they want to thrive. When he heard that, he started mumbling to himself, something about finding us work, I think. Fair play to him, though. Not content with having his ear chewed about the derelicts, he asked about the other settlements and all. After that, I can't really say. Looked like he was headed for Gatetown when last I saw him. Alright. Okay, so back to the gate and compare notes with Alphino. Ah, there you are. How did you fare? Have you learned anything which might offer a clue as to Master Chai's whereabouts? I do. Interesting. He apparently paid a visit to the Queen Bee as well. They discussed the possibility of granting admission to customers from outside Yulmore, an idea which the proprietor was surprisingly receptive. Sounds like he's got big plans for the place. Yulmore, I mean, not the bee. Perhaps, but the question remains, where did he go after leaving the city? Well, I think Gatetown's probably our next destination. Right. All we know for certain is that Master Chai has shown great concern not only for Yulmore, but its surrounding settlements. It seems logical, then, that having consulted those within the city walls, he would wish to do the same to those without. Ayame, if you would go and make inquiries in Right, I shall do likewise in Stilltide. Gatetown I leave to you, Kaishir. Fair enough. Where should we meet when we're finished? Well, Top Rung would seem to me to be his next most likely destination. Let's reconvene there. With any luck, one of us will have stumbled upon him by then. But if not, we will be well situated to continue our search. Alright, so, right it is. Alright. Hastelot, or however you pronounce his name. Hastelot? Something. Alright, no, the name doesn't ring any bells, but there was a rather dapper-looking Mistel gentleman here not long ago. He wanted to talk about relations between Wright and Yulmore, or rather the lack of them. We lost a great many people to their promises of meal and the chance of a lavish life among the free. And Vothri thought to take even more from us, conscripting the few able-bodied men when we had left to guard his paradise. I needn't tell you what happened when the seniors came. Such things are hard to forgive. But Vothri's gone now, and we're curious to see what will become of Yulmore in his absence. That's what I told your friend, Chai Nuz, was it? And I'm sure the others said the same. Not what he wanted to hear, I suppose, because he left soon after, and that was that. Alright, well, I guess we're off to Top Rung. And see if he made his way in that direction. Alright, there's Alphino. See what he found out. So he paid a visit to both Wright and Gatetown as well, did he? I see. Kaishir and I glean much the same. He seems determined to salvage what goodwill might yet remain among the settlements of Calusia, the only likely place he has left to go being Amity. Come, if we were quick, we may yet catch up with him. Though he could also head off to Tomra, potentially. But we'll head over to Amity and see if he's there. And there he is. Well, hello. Ayame, Alphino, Kaishir, what are you doing here? We might ask you the same, Master Chai. We have been looking all over for you. Looking for me? Whatever for? Lady Chai has been nigh inconsolable in your absence. She claims you disappeared without so much as a word, and bade us return you to her side. What in blazes are you talking about? I left a letter for her in our chambers. Though I suppose she could have overlooked it, and when she gets an idea into her head, I can only apologize. No harm done, Master Chai, but since we are here, might I ask what compelled you to come all this way? We were told you had been elected mayor, and from what we had gathered from the nearby villages, you have been inquiring about the people's grievances. Is it safe to assume you mean to take office? Now, let's not jump to conclusions. I did seek to learn about the problems faced by the people of Calusia, that much is true, but I am by no means sure I am the man to solve them. Tackling our many challenges require resources, and until I have secured them, it would not be right to assume the role of mayor. I see. And you believe said resources can be found here? Indeed. The people's grievances are many, but in the course of my inquiries, I have already met with several individuals willing to lend their aid in addressing them. However, there remains one individual crucial to my plans, a man whose counsel might yet make a mayor of me. With respect, such forethought is, in itself, proof of your suitability. The city needs you, Master Chai, and I am certain this man of whom you speak, whoever he may be, will reach the same conclusion. For what little it is worth, we will vouch for you should he require convincing. Alright, whatever you need, you can call on us. Indeed. I don't know what to say. Alright, you don't need to say anything. You've got your actions to speak for you. For as long as I can remember, all I ever wanted was to make it into Yulemore. There we go. But that dream's gone now. Burst like a bubble, or a boil more like. Anyway, outside of repaying Master Alphino, I hadn't a clue what to do with myself. Spent most days in a daze. But you've been running up and down trying to find a way to fix this mess for everyone. And I reckon you can do it. You got this lot up Mount Gulg, didn't you? How hard could marrying be? If you're going to steer Yulemore to a better future, well, you're going to Let's try that one more time. You're going to steer Yulemore to a better future, I know it. Alright, and I want to help, properly help, do something that makes a difference. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll work it out on the way, if you let me come with you, that is. You give me entirely too much credit, the lot of you, but I can't deny it gives me heart. Come then, let us press on together. Thank you, Master Chai. But we mustn't get ahead of ourselves. Yulemore needs more than a man with good intentions. Which is why I am here, to find one with the experience needed to see the city thrive. Who is this man exactly, and are you certain he's here in Amity? Rendon is his name, and yes he is, or was. I had scarcely begun to explain myself when he decided his time was better spent elsewhere. He served as chief advisor to Valthri's father when he was in office. If Ranjit was the mayor's right hand, one might say Rendon was the left, and between them they kept Yulemore on the road to prosperity. The city needs more than a mere man of business, which is why I must find him. But even if you do, what makes you think he will listen? Before giving chase, might it not be wise to speak with those who know him, here in Amity? They may be able to shed some light on his reason for rejecting your overtures out of hand. Yes, I suppose that makes sense. Perhaps we should start with Tristal then. As I recall, you made a rather favorable impression on him. I'm certain he would be willing to talk to us. Alright then. Speak with Tristal it is. Alright, greetings friend, and to you too, Master Chai. I presume you are here to ask after Rendon. I couldn't help overhearing your earlier exchange. Yes, well, with Volthree gone, Yulmore wants for a leader. Should no one rise to the challenge, the city could very well collapse. I came here seeking Rendon's counsel in the hope that we could build a better Yulmore together. And that is still my wish, but given how abominably you were mistreated there, I will quite understand if you choose not to help. Worry not, Master Chai. I bear no grudge against you or the people of Yulmore, and I would not see you suffer for Volthree's villainy. As you no doubt gathered from your meeting earlier, Rendon can be rather uncompromising. He has his principles, you see, and little patience for anyone he deems less committed to their own. Your desire to right the wrongs of your past, of Yulmore's past, is quite admirable, but I fear the guilt you bear on the city's behalf works against you. I can see in your eyes, in the way you carry yourself. It goes without saying he sees it as well. You must let those feelings go, Master Chai. Be more assertive, commit to this course, and prove to him Yulmore has the resolve to change. The resolve to change. I believe he was heading towards Pit 8 when he left. If you plan to go and speak with him, I suggest you be firm and clear in your intentions. Very well, to Pit 8 we shall go, and I will not take no for an answer, nay, not even a maybe. Alright, Pit 8 it is. I'm not sure where that is. This direction, apparently. Alright, and here is Rendon. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, well, it's you again. And I see you've invited your friends. Need them to fight your battles for you, do you?
No, I didn't invite them, as it happens. Though they are indeed my friends. Well, not only mine, but every true Yulmoran's. They are the ones who awakened us to the truth, to Lord Volthree's villainy. The famous warriors of darkness.
Are they now?
Yes, they are. It would be no exaggeration to call them our saviors. We owe much and more to their kindness, but we cannot depend on that kindness forever. To do so would be a little different from entrusting our affairs to Lord Volthree. Nay, we must learn to stand on our own 2 feet. And I would have them present to witness my attempt.
Hear, hear, Master Chai.
Your sentiments are admirable. Yet admirable sentiments do not a nation make. In my capacity as advisor, I once strove to build a better Yulmore. Gave honest counsel to my superiors, drafted laws for the benefit of one and all. But in time, my values fell out of favor. There was no need for them in this paradise Volthree was creating. And so I left my homeland behind. But you, Chai News, you were content to wallow in indolence under Volthree's auspices. And so I cannot help but ask myself what manner of nation you intend to build.
I can offer no simple answer to that question. But this much I will say. It is my hope that Yulmore can become a nation which her citizens might freely choose to build together. A great many people, myself included, flocked to Yulmore seeking sanctuary. The alternative being to live in fear and die in pain. Seemed an easy choice. And sanctuary we found. As much food and drink as we could ever want. Secured at the cost of the surrounding villages. Little wonder the people gathered at our doorstep, begging to work among the bonded. The free were blind to it all, of course. Content to, as you say, wallow in indolence. In ignorance. Were I mayor, I would first take stock of the city's resources and see that they were assigned equitably. Our days of reckless consumption are behind us. The distinction between free and bonded died with Vorthri. The needs of rich and poor alike must be considered if our nation is to survive. To which end I would take steps to secure channels for supplies, rekindle relations with nearby settlements, who re-establish industry, reach out to neighboring nations, and the list goes on and on. But I am no ruler, nor even a politician. I am an entrepreneur. My expertise lie in planning and profit. I haven't the knowledge or experience to run a nation. Please, Rendon, will you not help me? Together, we could solve the city's problems. Build a Yulmore for the people.
A Yulmore for the people. I rather like the sound of that. But before I offer you my counsel, I would be certain of your ability to perform the duties of office.
You would?
You ask me to help you solve Yulmore's problems, but first I would see you solve one on your own. Accomplish that, and you will prove both to me and the people that you are a man worth following.
All right. Well, that's promising. So, let's see what the problem is going to be. All right, right then. Is there a particular issue you would have me resolve? You seem to have conducted an assessment of the problems Yulmore now faces. I assume you'll agree, therefore, that the matter of dwindling food stores is the most pressing. Ah, yes. Meal being neither a desirable nor less sustainable option, I assume alternative foodstuffs are now required to fill the void. And a man who hungers is not likely to contribute much to society, save violence, perhaps. So tell me, how do you propose to solve this problem? Give me a satisfactory answer, and I will consider offering you my counsel. A combination of measures would seem to be in order. One to address the immediate issue of supply, and another that of production. Go on. For the present, Yulmore's coffers can be used to purchase food from our neighbors. This would afford us time to address the underlying problem that affects us all, the long-standing neglect of agriculture. The villages that once served as sources of trade for foodstuffs must be repopulated, their means of production restored. This assumes, of course, that we can rekindle relations with our neighbors, guarantee security and stability in the region, and most importantly, find people willing to leave the city and take up the rebuilding effort. My. Think of all that by yourself, did you? Well, yes, It began as a rather abstract plan I drafted some time ago, after speaking with the peoples of Yulmore and the nearby settlements. You've impressed me, Chinese. I have? Well, that is a relief. You haven't secured my support just yet, only my attention. Grand plans will not be enough to persuade the masses. If you would ask them to rebuild, you must provide them the means to do so. A fair point, Rendon, and one to which I have given much thought. I propose the use of Talos to aid in the establishment and maintenance of these settlements. Their employment should drastically improve efficiency and ultimately increase production. Talos? But Daedalus Stoneworks closed their doors years ago. Without a ready supply of the necessary equipment, the people would starve before your plans could be put into effect. Well, as the heir to Daedalus Stoneworks, it just so happens that Talos are my field of expertise. And with a little help, I'm quite certain we can acquire what we need in no time at all. Alright. Looks like we have a plan. But we are toward the end of the episode. Let me just go ahead and pick up the next quest, and then we'll see what we're going to be doing next. Shinos' look of steely determination is only slightly undermined by the knocking of his knees. Alright, Rendon is quite right. Building Talos from scratch would require time we simply do not have, which is why I propose to make use of the long-abandoned Talos which wander the wilds of Calusia. They will need to be deactivated, of course, and if memory serves, the tools required to do so should be top rung. Come with me. Yes, because there are actually, like, hostile Talos enemies in the area. So I guess we're going to be, capturing these guys. These defective Talos here. And using them. Alright, but we're going to stop here. And we will get to work on that when we come back. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you next time.